Biologists have patched together the genes of 6 mice to produce this single offspring. More astonishing is the mouse created from only one parent. One day, it may become possible to make exact replicas of human beings. The chance of twins being born is about 1 in 80. The likelihood that they be identical is less than 1 in 200. Wherever they appear, they are startling and fascinating. But if twins are rare, the odds against identical triplets are astronomical. These boys are lucky to have been born in the 20th century. Among primitive peoples, twins and triplets were feared and rejected. The mother bearing such an animal-like litter was thought to be accursed. One or all of the children were frequently killed. Today, such children are nature's oddity, but in the near future, they could become a familiar sight. There's a good chance that science will learn how to create identical human beings, or clones, as they are called. The prospect both intrigues and alarms people. There's a feeling that people created by laboratory manipulation would be less than human, a sense that something evil may be on the horizon. Biologically, however, clones would be much like identical twins, triplets, or quadruplets. These 10-year-olds form one of a dozen sets of identical quadruplets in the country. The boys do look remarkably alike, though there are differences, and more will become apparent as they get older. Their physical similarity and emotional closeness often blinds people to the fact that genetic identicals are separate individuals. They may look alike, but they do not necessarily think or act alike.
Well, it's very close, and there's a very, very strong bond, and I just can't describe it to you. We're very much alike, and then we also differ a great deal.
Our personalities are entirely different, and emotionally, possibly my sisters are stronger, the two of us. Physically, I say my sister is stronger than I am. She moves quicker.
Oh, my sister does it in a very big manner and much more
high style
action. Oh, maybe a little more noise.
Well, this is Robin. He has a thinner face. And this is Ray, and he has a wider jaws and wider face. Rich has a rounder head. They walk and run completely different, and then their body is different. It's 3 different kids.
The Bierning twins are one of 2 pairs of identical twin gynecologists in the country.
I think I'm a little more sedate, a little more likely to let nature take its course, whereas my brother is a little more aggressive, a little more likely to rock the boat and get a little upset a little more quickly than I do.
Provocative, or maybe volatile, is the word that I like to use.
Twins are not clones, but they are living examples of what clones could be. If we are to rise above the superstition of primitive tribes who killed twins, we must not think of clones as either less or more than human. Genetically, a pair of human clones would be the same as a pair of identical twins. They would, however, not originate in the same way. The conception of a normal baby begins with an egg from the mother, which carries her genetic instructions, and with sperm from the father, carrying his genetic makeup. When the sperm fertilizes the egg, the genetic information from the father joins that from the mother, and the cell begins to divide. Occasionally, the cell mass splits apart at an early stage. The separate halves continue dividing. They become identical twins, alike down to tiny details of face, hair, and teeth. It is believed that a person's skin and other body cells carry all the genetic instructions needed to duplicate that person. The process of cloning someone would begin with any one of their cells and any fertilized human egg. The egg nucleus containing its genetic instructions would be removed, and the nucleus from the donor cell inserted. After implantation in any woman's womb, the altered egg would divide and grow in the usual way. It would become the younger identical twin of the original cell donor, his or her clone. All of this is theoretically understood. Human cloning may be possible. But for lower forms of life, cloning is a reality. Some orchids clone themselves naturally. Others need a little help from man. At the Rod McClellan Company, south of San Francisco, growers are in the business of cloning beauty. They cut a tiny sliver of cells from the shoot of a mature plant and put the pieces in nutrient. After weeks of constant agitation, the cells grow into green clumps. The clumps grow into orchid plants exactly like the original. The process assures the growers that every orchid plant will be healthy and bear top-quality flowers. Cloning techniques are also being applied to trees. In California, the original stands of the giant redwood are rapidly disappearing. Researchers are helping reforest with a new breed of trees, faster growing, straighter redwoods with fewer branches than their ancestors. The breeding of super trees begins with the selection of the best tree in a stand. Twigs from the top of the tree are shot down and carefully gathered. Carbon copy redwoods are then grown in test tubes. Pieces of twig are planted in a special nutrient containing sugar, minerals, and growth-promoting hormones. Within a few months, a batch of little cloned trees is ready for planting in the nursery. Within a year, reforestation can begin. In the last decade, cloning research has made awesome strides. Biologists use the cells of one axolotl, a large Mexican salamander, to create its clones. Eggs are taken from a white axolotl. Normally, they would be fertilized by different sperm and grown into different axolotls. But a stranger fate awaits these eggs. Their genetic information is destroyed. They will become carriers for genetic instructions from other axolotl cells. A spotted axolotl embryo becomes the source of these cells. It is picked apart into individual cells. What comes next is the very essence of animal cloning. The genetic information-carrying nucleus of a cell is drawn into the pipette. The nucleus is transplanted into the unfertilized egg. Other cells from the same embryo, each carrying identical genetic instructions, can also be inserted in eggs. The results will be clones. The baby axolotls are born identical, spot for spot, man-made clones of a single parent. If cloning were achieved for man, a single individual could create descendants in his own image. Extraordinary people might be copied in hope of benefiting society. But the process raises a frightful specter of individuality lost. It would be theoretically possible to produce an army of identical humans who might synchronize their brains, thoughts, and actions to become a master race.